next episode of JasChat. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Jo.
And we've got some special guest stars today.
We do, indeed.
We're at Interchange in Ferntree Gully, and we have Kimberly and Sarah here to talk about some of their services that they have to offer. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being interviewed by us.
Thank you.
So we'll just tell you our situation, so you can perhaps say what things you've got to offer for our kids, and then tell us about all the rest of the services as well. So I've got a daughter who's 16, so she's in the equivalent of year 10 at her school. And Jo's son is how old, Daniel?
Daniel is 8, and he's in the equivalent of grade 2.
So yeah, we're both looking at different things. I'm looking at probably recreational pursuits, but also work options and training and things like that. That's what I'm looking at, which is scary. And you're looking
I'd be looking more at activities. So he's an absconder, so he'd need one-on-one care. So whatever you have to offer in that way. And I also have a soon-to-be 6-year-old going on 17. So any sort of sibling support that you may have that may assist our family.
Yes, one of our viewers has asked about sibling support as well, family services. The questions we've been asked to ask are things like what the waiting list is, what the criteria is, family services, sibling support services, and is there a membership? So I'm sure that will all be covered in there when you put it all up. So maybe we'll hand it over to you then. Who wants to talk first?
Makes sense to start with children, I think.
Yeah, sure. So we have many programs for children. It depends on age group. So we'll start with eligibility actually first. So we have a large waiting list, unfortunately, at the moment. It doesn't go in order of when you call, so there are people that are on that list from a couple of years. It goes on priority of service, so depending on the family's need, the age group, the programs that we need to fill, where there are vacancies, family dynamics. It's a large.
So it can depend on their situations and how they need the services as such. Yeah, and also to meet the need of what we need to fill.
So who makes that decision? Because there may be a family need, but they may not have the ability to communicate that.
Yeah. So I know at the moment we are targeting an age range. So at the moment we are focusing on younger children under 10 to fill our program vacancies, so that families can actually get a good amount of service. So yeah, I guess when you call in and we have an intake coordinator, we'll ask those questions to hopefully get as much information as possible out of families so that we can make that assessment. So, yeah.
And when you say under 10, that's for the actual child, not the siblings. That's just the child that qualifies for the program.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So.
Okay.
So our waiting list is very large. There is a very high demand for services, and not just services for the children, but for family services as well. So, and I don't know what adults is looking.
Actually, not that bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Our waiting list depends on what area you're interested in, whether it's the recreation side of things, the group-based sides, or the one-on-one supports.
Yeah.
But our list is.
Is that including the training and the job training, the work things? Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, that's there's a few vacancies on that at the moment. So anyone out there who's wanting some,
we had
training at our enterprises program.
They came out and did our back.
Yeah.
It was great. It was just done like that. It was fantastic. So Beth, my daughter's here, just in the background here, being a good girl. She is doing horticulture next year at school, so I thought, well, that might be quite a good transition to go into doing enterprises. So,
our enterprises program has a wood business, so they go out, collect their own wood, they split it, then they sell it to local families in the community. And there's also the landscaping lawn mowing program as well, and we're looking at lots of different things to introduce for the new year as well.
Okay, so it's more of the gardening side of things, isn't it? There's no other sorts of training?
At this stage, we are looking at a work education program for next year, but it all depends on who comes in, like who's interested. We try and tailor things more for the group that we've got rather than putting out a program that doesn't suit people who are interested.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So which is a bit backwards, I think, to a lot of other services, because they will just have the step program, whereas we'll try to tailor it to the people that.
Oh, fantastic!
That is really good.
Yeah, because they are also very different.
Yes.
They've all got different passions and different interests. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a lot of room to move there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I've gone
Yeah,
on.
sorry, I was going to say. Yeah.
It's all about Sarah. It's all about Sarah today.
Sarah's.
Okay,
So sorry, distracted. So children's services, as far as recreation, so that is weekend camps and day activities, is broken down into age groups. So depending on what the age of your child is, depends on what program you'd slot into. So we have a 4 or 5-year-old through to 9-year-old program, which is children's recreation, and it is one-on-one. So we have a very large volunteer base here. A majority are youth volunteers, so they support the groups. So we have generally on children's recreation, there's about 5 children in a group on a weekend camp or day activity, and we would have 5 volunteers and 2 staff. So the ratio is really high, which is, and obviously the youth volunteers are young and full of energy and fun, so
Run faster than we can.
so it allows, for a range of children with a wide variety of disabilities. So.
And do you match some of the kids up themselves, so that if they know each other and they've done recreational things? Yeah.
So what we would do is on an application form, once you're registered with us, you'll get a list of what we're doing and what we're running over the next 6 months, and then you put in your application form based on what your child wants. It also says on there, do they know other children?
Yeah.
Who do they want to be in a group with? Sometimes a lot of our volunteers too work across and do one-to-one support, so they're quite familiar with a lot of the children because they work in home.
The care at home.
We try and match volunteers that know kids and that sort of stuff, all based on volunteers' skill level and skill set that we are putting them with children that they'll be able to support a program.
Started doing some of those things, hasn't he?
Yes. Well, he does. He's done an overnight camp, which I was quite relaxed about it because they told me they were going to. He was going to. The guy who was taking care of him was going to text me and let me know how he was settling down. So that was, it was great. And now I just want to send him every weekend. Only because I know he has fun.
Yeah.
I think
That's nice.
Yes.
Do you still do the host family?
We do, yeah. So we have a dedicated host coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's 1 weekend a month, isn't it?
It can be anything. So we've found with a lot of young children that we're getting through now, parents are reluctant. It's quite nervous to send their child away with a family that they don't really know, which is really daunting.
For that reason.
Yeah, exactly. So it can look like a day, or so for littlies or anyone really, you can pick the person up or meet them somewhere, and you can go out for a few hours and then meet back with the family and they go home. So it can look like anything. Traditionally it was a weekend a month, but we work with whatever family.
And that's really good because it gives the kids and the parents the opportunity to let go a little bit and see.
Yes,
I suppose be with them to see how they interact.
Yeah, and it can be set up to be whatever works for everyone. So it might mean that the 2 families meet for the first 6 months and do something together, and then they're comfortable enough to then send their child off.
That's really nice.
It can look however.
And there's a waiting list for that, isn't there?
There is. Well, and it doesn't traditionally work as in you're here and it moves down. It's finding an appropriate match.
Yeah.
So it could happen really quickly. It could take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So depends on the child's level of need and who we have as far as volunteers to match them. So it's all about matching to the right person,
Yeah.
family, couple,
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
So what are the age groups for the children?
Sorry, I've got to track again.
Oh, no. For the host program. So any age?
Any age. So
Under 18.
yeah, you're not hosting it all.
We won't,
We won't.
set them up.
Okay.
If it's
so,
an
yeah.
existing, if
Yeah,
it's
so
an
we-
existing match, we
yeah.
will, but we won't set them
So
up.
the ones that have gone through
Yeah.
over the years, and
Yes.
it's been many years. We've got many that
Yeah.
have lasted many years.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the kids have grown and are now adults. We leave those existing matches in place, but under 18s.
Yeah.
And so those people that want to host, what do they need to do?
So they can hop on the Interchange website, and there's a form to fill out for expressions of interest to volunteer as a host.
Okay.
So, or they can contact Karen in the office, who's the host coordinator.
And we'll have these details available
Yeah.
for people to refer
Yeah,
to
we
on
can
the
put that
website.
on our
Yeah.
website. Yeah.
And for children that have higher needs, higher physical disabilities or behavioural support, that we have a specialised care program, which is still a voluntary base, very similar to host, but there is a reimbursement amount that we provide families, and that's fun. It's a funded program. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Yes, it does.
So children's recreation.
Yes.
Got back off topic. So, it's confusing because our programs are funded by different departments, and some are DHS and some are.
And is that the parents that get that funding, or do you help them?
We hold the funding here
Okay, right.
to be able to run the programs
Right. Okay.
at a minimal cost
Yeah.
to families. So families are really paying just for the activity cost.
Do you
to cover
walk them through that when if
Yes.
they ring and they haven't got funding? Like, we don't have what do you call it, a caseworker or anything
Yes.
like that.
Yep.
So if we rang you and said, look, we don't have funding, we don't know,
Yep.
you walk us
Absolutely.
through that. Okay.
Yep. We refer you on to who
Yeah.
we would suggest that might be able to help.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
so other agencies. So children's rec is the 4 to 5 through to 9-year-old children, and that's weekend camps and day programs. And then we have a 10 to 13 age group, and the support is the same. So it's still every child, groups of 5, every child has a volunteer still, and 2 staff. So very similar program.
What's the sleeping situation on the camps? Do they share rooms or?
Yes, usually. So we use a variety of different campsites. So some are campsites, so it is bunk style accommodation, but sometimes we're using caravan parks and cabins and
Yeah.
holiday rentals and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it really varies.
Okay.
But generally the volunteer would be in to supervise the child,
Okay.
or they'd be with a friend as well. So,
Yeah. Okay.
so yeah, that's set up very similar as far as weekend camps.
It's good you have that split of ages, because there's a big difference between a 4 or 5-year-old to a 13-year-old.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And their interests, everything. Really.
Yes,
is different,
that's
isn't
right.
it?
Yeah, and then it jumps to youth age, and the ratios drops. So it is not 1-to-1 anymore. So youth is 14 through to 18, and we start to withdraw the amount of support. So we're encouraging that independence, and
Is that
we
dependent
have-
on the child?
absolutely. But the criteria for youth group is that they must meet a lower support ratio. So
Right, okay.
because it's not 1-to-1.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it's where we have a gap in our service is
Yeah.
for children with high physical needs or high behavioural support. They don't fit into that youth
Yeah.
group model. So we're very aware that that's an area we need
Okay.
to look at. So so it's 6 youth aged people and 2 volunteers and 2 staff.
Okay. Okay.
So
That's
still a
still
fair
pretty
amount of
high
support.
ratio.
Yeah. But it's starting to reduce. So
Yeah.
and we'll be creating that independence and
Well,
pushing
just
that.
out of curiosity's sake then with that, do you find that there is a higher need for supervision as in the, how do I put it, say sexual tension? You know, like
Yeah.
is there more
Yes, there is.
trying to sneak in there and
Yeah.
I never even thought of that. Well, Daniel's only 8.
Yeah.
I've got one that asks
Yeah.
everyone out.
Oh, okay.
And likes, you know, that show Snog, Marry, Avoid. Likes the before boys, the ones with the studs and the 3 That's
The
her
rebels.
flavour. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, something like that I'd be thinking, gee, I don't know whether she'd need more supervision
Yeah.
to stop
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. So there is still, as you said, a high level of supervision. And,
Yeah.
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 That's
Sorry, that's just off.
Obviously, when we register a family, we write a very comprehensive support information document. So
Okay.
it would hopefully have all that information in there
Yeah.
to say that this person, you know,
Yeah.
likes this.
Not that anything's going on, just the interest. And I'm
Yeah.
just, I
Yeah.
wonder if,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, which is very normal.
We go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then it moves to adults, but we also offer a school holiday program, which is from, I'd say, for 5 years through to 18. So that's run during the school holidays, and depending on which school holidays it is, the amount of what we're running. So
And that's separated into age groups as well? Or that's
no,
together?
but we try and match groups according to.
Yeah.
Is that a separate
Yeah.
application, or is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many children do you have in that group doing the holiday program?
Oh, they'd be easily up near towards 100 families.
Okay.
Wow, that's massive.
Yeah.
It's the big one.
It is the big one. Yeah.
Like it's
But some people
it's
apply
very
sometimes and
important.
some not. So,
Yeah.
and it is, yeah.
Because that's when you lose hair and stuff.
Yeah, or go grey.
So, yeah.
But it's more the guilt, because having a child home bored playing on his iPad is
Mhm.
really, it's gut wrenching just to
Yeah.
see him so bored. But when you have other children,
Mm-hmm.
it's
And
not
they
like
want
you.
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when you need the break.
So yeah, so for January example, it's we offer 5-day camps so that kids get a good break from mum and dad get a good break.
Yeah.
So you can actually go away or relax,
Spend time with
Wow.
siblings.
spend time with the other kids. So
Go to pokies.
Yeah. Yeah. We can go on our own camp.
Yeah, you do
we do have mum's camps.
Oh, look at that. Oh, to be a fly on the wall.
So that's school holidays. It obviously varies depending on which school holidays is. So the smaller ones, they're 3-day camps, and then a series of day activities. So, yeah.
So, as I call them, are they dump and run ones? The holiday
Yep.
day programs?
Yep,
Love those.
can be if you want. You can hang around if you want to.
Oh, yeah, no, defeats the purpose of.
Yeah.
Hang around for a chat.
Yeah,
and
'cause-
we'll
Oh,
set you
okay.
off.
Yes, because my child is pretty happy to get away from me, because I'm quite, strict with his behaviour and stuff. So as soon as he knows he has an opportunity to get away from me, he's gone.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's good for him
Yeah.
more than me. I actually feel quite sad. Like, he doesn't want me.
Yeah, you look at it. Dump and
He's
roll.
off having fun. So that's children in a nutshell.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So we also offer there are other programs as well, just to